how does it kind of then represent if you've got a whole bunch of processes running that you don't know if malware is it malware or not? Does that make sense?
When Kuku records the data, it only takes the process ID. It takes the APIs that is belonging to that process ID.
Right. So you know kind of, so you already got that pre-knowledge of which process ID is a malware.
Yes.
Okay.
So all the APIs is only related to the process ID of the API is only related to the process ID of the malware.
Have you thought about running a classifier against all the process IDs to see if it can actually distinguish what's malware and what's not?
If I did that, I would. Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
So you might have a bunch of processes running, stuff which is benign.
Yes.
How would the classifier work against stuff that is?
How we does it is like Kuku only records these APIs that are belong to the process ID, so we don't actually have the benign process IDs. So when we extract it from the database, we only take the APIs that belongs to the process ID that is in the database.
And again, Steve, I think also they're also reliant on the anti-malware they're using. I think in their case they use Avast. So if they're reliant on that, the Avast or AVG would have highlighted what is suspicious as malware. So when they're putting it into the F feature set, they're already using that process ID intelligent from what the antivirus software they're using.
Another point, when you look at the frequency of how often it calls the API, is that always periodic? Because if it's periodic, you can get free. What if it's not periodic? How do you represent that?
So how we take the frequency is okay. Maybe it's because I didn't define the frequency well enough, but it's more like the frequency is just the number of occurrences of the API during the whole execution of the sample.
I see.
So that is the frequency in this case. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. So
a question for Marcus.
No, Giuseppe.
On the basis test bed, are you going to extract network data to then test IDS, etc.? Are you able to guarantee that network data is clean in the outset and it's not already compromised data or compromised network?
That's actually what we don't care about, because it could also be that there is some attack going on in this network. The IDS would detect that. So we don't need anomaly-free data for that, but we need the traffic that the network is generating, because anyway then the IDS would analyze that, and independently of if there is anomaly-free or not, we would process the data, and if there are attacks going on or anomalies, some IDSes would detect them, some others might not.
Okay, I have a question for both of you. I'll start with Trevor. What were the challenges you faced in combining the bio-inspired algorithm, i.e. the DCA and the BBA? What are the challenges in combining those two for your experiment?
When selecting the data set, the algorithms need more time for testing and training, so the challenge was to test and train the proposed model, such that we obtain better performances. Until now it's still a work in progress, so these are only the first results we have obtained.
That's good. Are you looking to prototype this in real environment apart from using the sample you already used? Is that a future work plan?
Well, we plan to test our model on other data sets and probably integrate it in a query-based learning system that we are working on. Also adding some visual analytics in the model.
Thank you. I thought your presentation went very well. The framework to benchmark IDSes, is that a process framework or technical framework? So are you bringing a process-driven framework to step through the different IDSes and then recommend what you, or are you going to go through a technical evaluation of trial of all those IDSes and then recommend that to the industry? More technical evaluation.
one question to Giuseppe. I have the question, what is the main idea of log line clustering approach, what you've shown us on the last slide?
Okay, so I'm not personally working on that currently. My colleague Marcos is working on that. But as far as I know, so we're trying to classify log events. Starting from log data, we try to group them and try to understand how the logs can be mapped to events. So similar logs would belong to the same cluster that correspond to something that is happening in the network right now. So that's how we would think about clustering the log lines. It's just for classifying the log lines.
You combine different clusters, yeah?
No, we combine the lines. So we analyze the different lines and we try to find similarities between them. And we say, okay, these log lines in this order happen every time there is, I don't know, database query and then web access to web server.
Thank you so much.
Any further questions?
So you said in your future work you're looking at sort of how to compare and score your IDS system. I know it's future work, but what are your thoughts on that? How do you rate an IDS system? What's the metrics?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. That's the next point of the action point for us is, first of all, defining metrics. And for example, one idea I could think about is to compare them according to detection rate. So if we, for example, are 100% sure that there is an anomaly in the data we're processing, we could see which of the IDSes is capable of detecting it, and then compare how timely this happens, and so have a kind of grade on the different IDSes. But still, this is something we are investigating on, so I couldn't answer like completely to this question because I don't know myself. We're working on that.
In the same space, how many IDS systems are there available that we need a rating system?
Pardon?
How many IDS systems available commercially that we need a rating system to make a decision?
I don't know the numbers, but there are different solutions. There are even open source IDSes. There are IDSes homemade, like the one we implemented recently in a previous research project. So there is not only one solution out there that everyone could deploy on their infrastructure.
Any further questions? All right, thank you guys.